Open the new link. Bro, don't put the headphones on. You won't be able to hear.
No, I can hear. Okay, got it.
चलो डालो. थोडा अजून अँगल काय करायचं बघ आता
Let's say the top of the.
बघ
Yeah, now it's good.
come let's not move it again. I'm not moving the laptop after this. ठीक है
Okay, cool. Right, we should open the door.
Okay. Check the text if you can read it. Yeah? All right, bro, let's do it. Come. Zoom it.
Yeah, one level. That's good.
All right, ठीक है?
I meant like the browser.
Oh, browser, not the. ठीक है था.
Yeah, this is perfect.
All right, bro, let's go. Come on,
Okay, good.
Ashish.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay, bro.
No, other one.
Okay.
Let's do it. All the best. 56. Pray to God it goes well. Pray, bro. Calm down now.
Suspicious. That's boost.
Huh?
Doing this suspicious.
No.
You're gonna remove the glasses? Reflection.
अबे हाँ यार. Difficult to read, but ठीक है.
Sorry.
Bro.
Sorry. Is it reconnected?
No.
No. Reconnected?
No. क्या करते हो यार?
Sorry. Still not?
It's not connected. Move something. Okay, it's connected now.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Takes a bit, I think.
Don't do that again.
Yeah. Okay.
If I do this.
No, monitor is off, right? Sound.
Yeah. You turn your off as well. And bro, look, it's very subtle, but if I do this, look at me. Okay? Can you see the screen? And there is a lag. So code with comments. Remember? Explanation on the right. आणि एकदा coding check झाली तर don't just keep at it. System design interview मध्ये पण if there's any questions and you think some information could be helpful that I'm struggling, immediately find a solution. If they say design a pixel tracking system, quickly put it on ChatGPT. Okay? All right, bye. We're not speaking now. Bro, the voice is coming through. Mute the live link. Mute the live link. Hello.
Hi, hi,
Hey,
Sarek.
how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much. Ready for the
Um,
session?
yeah, I'm just waiting for one of my more colleagues to join.
Yeah.
We'll just give it a minute. By the way, how are you doing this today? All good?
Yeah, all going well. It's they asked me for a 1.5 hour slot, so today was the only day sort of to do it. So
I think it's a good day before everyone kind of wraps up for Christmas.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. If I could get the result out of it before the holidays, that would be even better. So you can go. But yeah, looking forward to it. Let's see.
No, worries. Hey, Faye.
Hey,
Hey.
hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm gonna take a bit of 5 minutes just to how we're gonna spend another 90 minutes together on this call,
Yeah.
and then we'll start from there. Fine.
Sure.
So Saran, me and Faye are part of the same team, right? So this is your kind of a technical interview round for next 90 minutes for the role. I think the platform engineer role that you have applied, and the way we're gonna spend in the next 90 minutes is like 5 minutes. We'll do introductions about me. We'll introduce all of us can introduce to each other so that we know, right? Like kind of set the scale out.
Yeah.
And then next 20 minutes or 20 minutes kind of we'll try to spend on a coding round where we'll give you a problem, we'll walk through that and try to do that coding problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Could be like between 20 25 minutes. We'll let you know once it's done. And then probably another, and the rest of the time is like, I think it's 45, 50 minutes is on kind of infrastructure round, where we'll ask you questions about infrastructure, what are different technologies, we'll do a bit of dive down, right? All
Yeah.
that stuff.
Sure.
And then finally, the last 5 minutes, you'll be the interviewer. You can ask whatever you want to ask us, and we'll try our best to give you the answers on that.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Okay. I'll introduce myself first, and then over to you, Faye. So I'm Nishchay Goel, part of Chase UK for like close to 3 years now. I'm part of a platform team, kind of specifically working on Kubernetes, managing the whole platform, working in the cloud, AWS, and all the container ecosystem, whatever is there, and Chase kind of part of that.
Yeah.
So that's what my role is, and me. That's me.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's Faye. Just call me Faye. Thank you for attending this interview. Similar with Nishay, almost, I guess, 3 years now in this team. Although we are considered one team, primarily we are assigned specific sections or kind of specific focus. So, for example, Nishay's focus more is on the platform side, core platform. Mine is more on the connectivity.
Okay.
So hopefully you'll be joining our team, my
Okay.
team, where we primarily provide connectivity and manage connectivity between our bank and third parties,
Yeah.
talking about incoming traffic and outgoing traffic. Yeah, I think that's it. Over
Okay.
to you.
Yeah. So yeah, my name is Sarang. Just to reiterate, I've been working as a platform engineer for last 2.5 years now, with a company called Fresher, and before that, I was at the BBC. So my career sort of started with front end, moved slowly to back end, then transitioned into the cloud sector around 2019. Became cloud developer, and then with a natural transition, sort of landed in the platform engineering. It's been good so far. I've worked on projects which heavily involve Terraform, Kubernetes, and AWS as a primary sort of cloud provider. So lots of bash scripting and things like that. YAML engineers, as they call each other. But yeah, I've been in the industry for about 7 years, and with the current company for about year. It's a startup.
Okay. I think we can just head on to the coding part, as Nishay said, and we will explore back more
Yeah.
on experience and technologies you worked with.
Sure. Okay.
Has HR told you anything about the coding? Any?
They only
Great.
sent me a link for HackerRank. And it said code in any language. That's it.
I see. I still don't have access to HackerRank. But do you have anything platform? To be honest, even an editor is enough for
Okay.
this coding, because we're mainly not particular on the syntax, because different language, different syntax. We're mostly focusing on how the code flows and how you optimize given a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you can share at the moment?
Like a code editor?
Yes,
Okay.
of your preference.
Sure. So about the HackerRank thing, do I need to log into that at all?
I don't think you need to.
Okay. Just a second then, because I actually started the session just before I joined the interview with my name on it. Just a second. Let me see.
I think you can also open HackerRank, or if you have an IntelliJ or Visual Code that
Yeah.
you have.
Yeah, I think I have one of them. Can I just share my screen with you quickly so you can see what I'm doing? Zoom.
You're sharing the screen?
Yeah, just a second. So this is where I am at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think let's just use any IntelliJ you have or
Okay.
any IDE.
I actually have cursor with me. I can. Do you want to start a new project? I can just.
You can use any preference, any code of your preference.
Yeah.
And also, to be honest, we don't really need it to compile.
Okay.
Any.
Yeah, I'm just creating a new project so I can sort of go through with that. Okay. Yeah. Is this good?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. I'll just actually paste in the
Sure.
question.
Okay. Given a list of integer 1 to 9, find the second highest occurrences. Example 1, 2, 3, 4 should return 2. Second highest occurrences. Okay. So I could run through how I would approach this. So my preferred choice of language is JavaScript. It's just I've been using that for a very long time, Node.js. I think the first thing we could do is it's a list of integers, so 1 to 9. So if it's an array, I'll assign an array. So create basically an array that equals to the value 1, 3, 2, 4, and then check the occurrences. We can do this quickly with a for loop. So basically iterating over the each elements in the array and finding the array that's been repeated. And it says find the second highest occurrence. So the first highest, just by looking at it, would be 3, and the second will be 2. So I think a for loop should do. Is that good?
Okay, let's try. Let's try that in code.
Okay.
Do you mind? Because I don't know how to move this.
I can't see. Move this.
No. The text that I just pasted, I'm looking to move it. But if you could just open, I don't know, a file and then copy that instruction.
Sure.
So you don't put it.
Yeah. It's like an imprint on the screen.
Yeah, I can only delete it. So
Sure.
take the time to.
Let me see.
Just type it in.
There you go.
Okay. Cool.
That should do. Yeah, I think safe to delete. So let's start with a. So you want to see the outcome of the script as well, or is it more like I could just go ahead and sort of start coding?
Start coding.
Okay.
Let's see.
Cool. Okay. And okay. So let's define an array first. So I would go something like this equals array. Oh, it's actually suggesting me things to do. I'm not gonna do that. So first we define an array. How do I delete it? First we define an array. Then we go.
Sorry, Saran.
Yeah.
Faye, I think because ID is gonna suggest the code, right? I think
Yeah.
there's one more way we can do this, and then we can change the question.
Should
Just
we-
give me a minute.
Should I
Saran,
open VS Code? VS Code doesn't have the automatic.
Can you go to code pile, or I'll tell you the URL of code pile. Can
Sure.
you go to your browser, please?
Yeah. Okay. Code pile. Like
Yeah.
that.
So type codepile.net/pile.
/file.
Pile. Pile. PILE.
PILE. Yeah.
/small n capital X.
Small n capital X.
Y7.
Y7.
Capital D. A capital L.
A capital L.
A small capital L 9.
Yeah. That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Faye, I've sent you this URL. You can open that as well. And probably Faye, you can post another question here if you have.
Sure.
Or another question.
Yeah.
I think we're good with the.
I can give one if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I'll post. Can you see the question? So if you see,
Sorry. Yeah.
that's function reverse,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. Given an array start and end position, reverse just the subarray within the range start and end included. Okay, function reverse, input start end, constant input. Okay. Let's go in array. The start position is 3, end position is 7. Reverse just the subarray within the range start and end included. Okay, and the output is reverse. And the output would be that. Okay. Couple ways of I would say the first thing that comes to my mind is I would take in, so these are the indexes of the array. We can use slice object from JavaScript to basically go, okay, basically segregate the array from this 3 to 7, and it will create a new array, and then we can reverse that array. That's the first approach that comes to my mind. Is that good?
Yep, let's try that first.
Okay. So let's say start array. So if I go let subarray equals include dot slice. Is it allowed to sort of check the syntax, or are we? It's not allowed.
For now, just keep it this way. That's fine. We'll help you where you need help in syntax.
Got it. So I can go start. I'm thinking slice takes in two parameters, index, where to start and where to end. Let's
Yep.
see. So if I do console, can I compile this code to see?
No, this won't work.
Okay.
That's why
Okay.
we said,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So in that case, we'll have a subarray, and then the subarray can be reversed. So reverse dot subarray. We can take subarray, which is the new array we got, and then reverse it. I'm gonna have to check the syntax again for this, but I think that could. Something along those lines.
So the reverse is a function, right? So
Yeah.
you should have the parenthesis of with reverse.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. And that should sort the array in the reverse direction.
Okay.
Yeah. If we were to able to compile it, I could actually go actually verify that it's working. But if it doesn't compile, then yeah. But this is
Let's take it that it's working. I mean, because that's why we have it on. We don't want to compile the code.
yeah, sure. Okay. Got it. Yeah, so my approach would be get the array, slice it, the specific part using the indexes, then assign it to the new array, and then use a method to reverse it, and then console log it. Yeah.
And how would you continue then? You have reversed the subarray, and then now what would be the how would you come up with the output?
So then we console log the array that's been reversed, and then it should show start to end. So as you said in the comments, reverse just the subarray within. So when we are slicing an array, it will create a new array for that specific slice, and that would be the output, and we are just logging it out.
But then this would just be the subarray, a reverse subarray, right?
Yeah, reverse just the subarray. Yeah.
But in line 11, if you look at the expected output.
Okay. So 1, 2. Oh, okay. I see. So this is just that part of the subarray. Sorry. So what then we will have to get in. Then we can go. Again, we have our let input. Let's call it full array. Then I would do something like equals. I can use the 3 spread operator basically to add in to this array. So the syntax for that would be input. Wait, so input. So I want to basically use this bit, so I can get the spread of the array. So I'm gonna have to place it between this input. Full array. So I have the input subarray. So I can do something like this. If that's the input we need, 1, 2, 3. So we're getting 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. can go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Something like that, and I can then use the 3 spread operator basically to get this reverse subarray in there.
I know that you're trying to visualize, but if you look at the start and end, it says start at 3 and then end at 7.
Start at 3 as is 3 as an index, right? Or 3 as a number.
We can go with index. That's fine.
Okay. Okay, so I took 3 as an index, so that's why then the array would be here, the reversed array. So you have 1, 2, 3, which is we are at index 2, and then the reversed array, and then continuation with the rest of the input of the array. So you will have this output. So we've basically hard coded the values, reversed, and then hard coded the next other values.
Okay.
Yeah. Console log the same thing again, and should be able to see. Something like that in a pseudo way.
Yeah.
Okay. And is there any other sort of solution you were expecting in this case, or is this?
So this is, if you see, if the input changes to, let's say, array of length 7 and start and end change, this will not work, right?
Yeah, no, it's not dynamic that way.
So we are actually expecting a dynamic. Like, how can we make it dynamic?
Okay. How can you make it dynamic? So I think the way then to do that is we can. So we have the arrays start and end. So we can still use the spread operator. We're gonna have to figure out a way to sort of insert that in the middle of the array. We can take the indexes of the array elements. So let's say this array reduces from 14 to 7. We will have 6 indexes, and then basically based on that, at index number 3 we should insert the reverse array and index, yeah, and then continue from there, something like that. So let me see. Okay, see if the array constantly different arrays. So let's say we got that input. Should I save it somewhere, this thing, or?
No.
Yeah. Okay. So if I take this now, if I sort of remove that, and then the and it's thinking. Okay, I think I got it. We can build a function basically that will, so let's say we have we can get a function in. This will basically take in our full array as an argument. Oh no, the function already exists, so I don't need to make one. Sorry, I didn't.
I was going to remind you
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
See what
It
we're trying.
already exists. Okay, yeah. So
Okay, so let's just start from the beginning.
Yeah.
So there is an input,
Mm-hmm.
and you manage to find the range.
Mm-hmm.
And then based on that range, you manage to use a method that reverses.
Yes.
Okay, you have the subarray reversed,
Yeah.
and then you have the input, which is the full list.
Yeah.
All you just need to rearrange, and then, according to, let's say, line 14, based
Yeah.
on the range, the start and end, it's just swapping in, inserting the reverse subarray into the original one,
Yes. Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
just to recap on,
Yes. Definitely. Okay. So let's do this. I'll put that in the function just so. Okay. So so we have the slice of the array. Then we will have subarray dot reverse, which is our this. Then we will have. I'm gonna just delete this one because
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. Let full array equals then I can take in, so all of the other ones are array as well, so I can again use the 3 spread operator to do something like subarray. We put in the input reverse and input reverse. Okay, so something like this, input, then the reverse subarray, then the input again, but this will take in the start, and this should take in dynamic. So now this way, when we invoke this, when we give it value, no matter what kind of array it is, it will create a full array. Input is input, so it will slice from here, insert the reverse array, and then input again till the end. What do you think? Is it?
you're doing is, so walk us through. You said input and start.
Yeah. So
Would
But-
mean which then evaluate to.
so input, so you getting the start value from here, and it will evaluate to start. I think it can take one more argument here, probably something like this. So we'll take the input, which is our started from index number 3, create an array out of that. So this, and then we'll have a subarray that we are creating here and reversing it, add that in, and then again take the input and insert the end indexes, in this case, which is 7.
How are you going to do that? Sorry, because am I looking at a pseudocode, or am I looking at the main actual?
This is, I mean, I think syntax wise, it will not probably compile because it's not syntax probably correct in this one. More of a pseudocode, if you will. So the way to dynamically slice it is, this is how I would do it, is get the input, start of it, then reverse the array, add that in, and basically add the end as well to it. So constructing a full array from 3 different components, because we will be needing, we won't know what the is dynamic length of the array, so we wouldn't know where to start and end. So in that case, yeah, just start at the given indexes and end at the given indexes, and then
Let's just skip this because conscious of time. Let's just skip this one last 10 minutes.
Okay.
We can move on to another section
Yeah.
of the interview. How would you reverse the subarray?
how would you reverse? You can use the reverse method in JavaScript.
How do you think that reverse method is implemented?
How do you can call it like this, I think. So you can get a subarray and then basically just dot reverse it, and it should reverse the.
Given a list that I'm going to give you, how will you reverse it without using a method? Or how would you implement a reverse method?
Without using the native method. Basically, you can parse through the
Would you be
subarray.
able to share us in pseudocode if you prefer?
Yeah, sure. Also, I don't know why it went green. I think it's like selected or something at this. Yeah, okay. Oop. Yeah, it's going green. Left in the. I think we could use basically a for loop in this case. So we could do something like let left equals 0. For left will be greater than right, and then you go. So I'm just checking if the left is rather than right. Right, left. We're gonna have to then traverse through the whole thing. Position. Okay, I think first we should calculate probably the length of the array. So if I could do array length, so I could go input. Oh no, so we could do only doing the subarray dot length. Something like that, and then I could go the input array I. So basically input on left equals right and right equals left and right. So let do let's call it temporary. Input left equals right. So we are assigning that, and then so we are assigning basically the left to the right, and then I can go.
Could you explain more? What does left and right represent?
Yeah, so that's basically the indexes. So I'm basically replacing. So between 0, let's say we have three elements in this. So between 0 and 2, I'm just basically making left to the right. So the left indexes, which is 0, will be 2, and then 2 will be 0, and just basically reversing it like that. Does it make sense?
Continue. Go ahead.
and then can go input, because all we're doing is reversal of the index, so it's just assigning the reverse value. So if I do this, right equals, let's say we just assign it to the temp pray, and then we'll have to increment these values. So left will be incremented and right will be decremented. And then we put all of this in a function, and we can yeah, I think so. If you put all of this in a function and then call that function, return, yeah, hold on. So we got for left is less than right, that's fine. So for every left that's less than right, it will go, don't need this in this case, don't know why I added that, sorry. Temporary array, left equals right, right equals to temporary array, and then increment the left, decrement the right. Yeah, this should reverse the indexes, basically assign the left to right and vice versa.
Okay. I think we can leave it here,
Mm-hmm.
and we can just move on to the next section then,
Okay.
which is the infra.
Okay.
Sorry, about more like talk about technology and the things that
You can stop sharing a screen as well. Sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Go
Sure.
ahead. Faye.
Yeah. As you know, since we are on connectivity as well, it's quite important how we know how things happen between a client and a server.
Yeah.
Could you explain the journey? Let's say, for example, you perform a curl
Mm-hmm.
from your client machine all the way to the server. I know a lot of things can happen, but in primarily, what happens underneath between the client and the server?
So when you run a curl command, usually either you're trying to download something or you're trying to fetch something.
Let's just say, to be specific, curl get
Yeah.
google.com.
Okay. I mean, the first initial step is basically initiation. So you'd initiate a request from the curl, and then it would go to the DNS resolution. It will resolve that URL that you're trying to curl into the IP. It will reach that server layer, and probably has some kind of TLS in there. So it'll do a TLS handshake and fetch your request.
Okay. Well, what happens during the TLS handshake?
What do you mean? I mean, like it probably TLS handshake.
Yes. So you mentioned that there's a TLS handshake. What
Yeah.
is it for? And what happens? You can explain a very simple term what happens during the handshake.
I mean, it's basically TLS. We have a TLS certificate, and when you reach that endpoint on the thing, you will have. I don't. Sorry, you got me there. TLS handshake is basically
think that's
unencryption of the. You will have some kind of certificate saved, and you will have to validate that. I think that's what TLF handshake would be, and in probably when you make a request to that, it will validate the certificate if it's there. And
which
then,
one? So client server, which one has the certificate? Which one validates?
so we're making an request from our client, so the server will have the certificate.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then which one validates? Is it the client? Is it the server?
Server needs to validate, I think, because typically server will have the certificate, and then server will need to validate that the request it's reaching to it is actually valid or is from a valid source. So
Right.
yeah.
Do you know, because you mentioned TLS handshake, what about MTLS handshake? Are you familiar with that?
No.
Okay, that's
Sorry.
fine. I think that's the only question I have for connectivity, Nishay. Any questions from the infra?
Yeah, I'll go few. So Sarang, so you've mentioned about Kubernetes, right?
Yeah.
Could you give me a couple of minutes? What have you done on Kubernetes? Like, and then I'll probably ask around that.
Sure. So recently we set up a staging cluster on Amazon EKS. So there was a production cluster that was already running in EKS. We've helped set up staging cluster, which was running in locally. Now it's in the EKS. So the idea was to basically have team-based staging environments, and they will have their own namespaces. So for example, engineering DevX, engineering Roswell, the different teams will have their own namespaces and they will have their own resources. And as part of the environment, you will have this space in Kubernetes that you can play with, and you will have your secrets and whole.
So,
Yeah.
so was your role to set up the Kubernetes? So was it you who set up the EKS cluster?
No, the EKS cluster was set by someone else, but I helped then sort of manage it after that.
When you say manage it, what sort of
So-
managing? Like, what is your role on Penguin this time?
Yeah, my role was basically to create all these namespaces for these different teams, create deployments, replica sets, help them set up the right tooling that they need. There was also some ingress work done. And then they were using local Vault Manager for secrets. So we then helped them configure the external secrets and things like that.
So is it all basically all from a developer perspective? There's no administrator side of the Kubernetes you have done.
I manage Kubernetes cluster now after using Lens. So basically, managing it means like if there's an issue on any of the namespaces or team environments, I help them sort of bring it up again, troubleshoot what actually went down, why the port's not spinning, or if they run out of resources and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever so if okay, so if I ask you a question in this way, if I give you a let's say logging application, right? As an example, could be Elasticsearch or could be sort of that, right? How would you deploy on Kubernetes? What sort of deployment object you would use? Or what sort of Kubernetes object you would use to deploy the logging application?
I'd use the application.
No, what I'm asking is how would you deploy a logging mechanism for your Kubernetes cluster?
Logging mechanism. Oh, okay. So it needs to. So if you're using logging, it probably needs to run on every worker node. I would use a daemon set to deploy the application, so it's running on every, and then daemon sets, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. And what is imagine you have a service and a deployment, right? And somehow when you hit a service, it is not reaching to your deployment. How would you debug that?
I would describe the service. I would check what's happening there. I'd check the logs if there's any logging available already. But just using pure Kubernetes, I think I could just describe the service and see where it's hitting and why it's not resolving to the deployment.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you. And do you know what a core DNS does in the EKS cluster?
Don't I've heard that term before, but I can't exactly explain what exactly it does. I would say it sort of resolves the name. It's core DNS, so it probably resolve the name of the services and pods.
Okay, but you're not familiar with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what a kube proxy does in the cluster?
yeah, it basically creates it's proxy for the difference. For example, um, you have different components in your control plane, and kubeproxy is critical component for the cluster because of the service management, the traffic routing, yeah, different bits. It can also help probably do the so traffic management one of it. It can also help with the load balancing.
Okay. Just a couple of more questions on this, right?
Yeah.
What are the core components that you deploy in EKS versus when you deploy? Like, what are the sort of different components when you deploy on EKS versus when you deploy on Kubernetes locally? You said you had a local cluster before, right?
Yeah, we've had so EKS is a managed service by AWS. So I did not deploy that one, but I could say you will have basic Kubernetes components. Like if you're doing it locally, you will have access to the etcd, you have scheduler, control plane, and you will have your API server. That's locally. Kubelet, kubeproxy. Yeah, and as part of deploying it on the AWS, I think most of these components are managed by AWS. So you probably don't have to deploy it there.
And what about have you used a state headless service?
No.
Okay. Have you used a stateful set?
A stateful set? Yeah.
Yeah. Why do we use stateful set?
So basically, when a pod runs and it finishes its job, it's destroyed. Stateful state will maintain the state or data from that pod.
Okay. And then bit more. Do you know anything about admission webhooks?
Admission webhooks? No.
No. Okay. No worries.
Sorry.
Okay. Now, Faye, do you have any questions on the Kubernetes side?
No, but I have one question. I'm quite interested. You can explain briefly as well.
Yeah.
In one of your work or experience in Fresher,
Mm-hmm.
is that you said that you're designing and implementing API management strategies.
Yeah.
What are these strategies?
So
API
ba-
management strategies.
So basically, they're using REST API at the moment to do all the communication, and the idea is to move to GraphQL, and we interact quite a bit with third-party vendors like payment processors like RDN accounts and different ones. So we interact with the internal services and the external as well. And when we were moving from REST API to GraphQL, the main challenge was our third-party vendors did not fully support that. So we were trying to come up with new solutions in order to sort of not fully break the system and still migrate from using REST to GraphQL. Still ongoing project, but the strategies was basically working with the RDN accounts to see if they can build something on their end, or do we need to change something on our end in order to move to GraphQL.
Why are you moving to GraphQL and not sustaining REST?
I mean, it was a business decision. The POC was created by someone, and the decision was to move because GraphQL is fast, it's more reliable, more robust. Lots of words were thrown, but it is all that thing. But I think REST still stands at the heart of it, and it is.
Are you familiar with the difference of REST and GraphQL?
I know REST API way better than GraphQL, way better. I'm still sort of, as I'm doing this project, I'm still learning with this thing, but yeah.
I think that's it from my side. Do you have questions for us? Oh, sorry. We have 10 minutes, I suppose. Any questions for us?
I was just a couple questions in terms of infrastructure. I was told that Terraform is used to sort of manage infrastructure.
Yeah.
Just if you could, we use TerraGrunt at the moment. Have you used that before?
We do use TerraGrunt as well.
Yeah, what's your experience with it?
I mean, TerraGrunt is quite new, not quite new, but compared to Terraform, it's fairly less used, I would say.
Yeah.
90% we use Terraform and 10% TerraGrunt, but there might be a shift towards TerraGrunt. But that's too early to say. What's your experience, if you want to say?
So my experience was it manages the dependencies really well. That was sort of the one of the core selling point of TerraGrunt. But it's proving to be difficult now because once the project grows and if everything is in one repo, it manages it using the paths in the dependencies. So you can't truly decouple your architecture. It sort of depends on each other or based on the permissions you've given to that specific path. So came up with a solution basically to decouple it using SSM parameters in AWS. So
Yep, we do that.
yeah, you do that. I think that is sort of the most reliable way to sort of deliver the resource ID to your modules. And yeah, that's what I was just thinking. If you use that, how did you tackle that? If it seems like a very common problem
Yeah,
with
that is
TerraGrunt.
indeed.
And in terms of tech stack within the company itself, like I know Kubernetes can go really deep and you can go really deep the downhill in that. How many people in your team would be Kubernetes sort of managers or administrators, as they call it?
So overall, the team size is 40, no, 50, out of which there's 25 on platform side, 25 on developer experience side.
Yeah.
On the platform side specifically, there's team of 6 or 7. Everyone knows Kubernetes, but
Yeah.
there is a team of 6 or 7 people who are really managing the Kubernetes upgrades, management, lifecycle, and everything around the whole ecosystem. So the whole tooling, whatever tool comes to your mind from Kubernetes perspective, that's 6, 7 people are managing it.
Okay. And
Yeah.
and as part of platform team or connectivity team, do you write their own pipelines as well? And in what tool do you usually do it?
There, like what Nishay explained, there are certain group or a subgroup that manages the actual, let's say, for example, we use Harness.
Yeah.
That installs and manages that down from deploying it in an EKS or ECS.
Yeah.
But we do create or write our own pipelines.
Yeah.
We design, there's fairly like, there's a template, but we design how it's going to go, the
Got it.
stages and all these things.
And within the connectivity team, how does your day-to-day sort of looks like? Is it busy? Is it, I mean, I know
MTLS, TLS, Istio,
yeah.
certificates, RFCs, JWT tokens,
Yeah.
or JWT, JWKS, and all these things. These are the everyday ones.
Yeah.
How do we segregate services based on paths, or how do we control traffic coming in and out? How do we perform tunneling to certain proxies by using Istio? How do we communicate, integrate with other, let's say, for example, there's a JPMC specific team that also manages our WAF or JPMC's WAF configuration, and we integrate with them. How do we build the traffic based on that integration? Or how do we build the bridge
Yeah.
and direct the traffic that will use this bridge?
Okay. And it's mostly with third parties, the communication, or is it more internal?
It depends on the business purpose. There are, like I said, third parties.
Yeah.
We receive traffic from them. We send traffic to them.
Yeah.
And then there are also integration between teams in JPMC.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily say they are third parties, but in terms of our infrastructure, they are, not part of our infrastructure.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I think just wanted to know how the day-to-day sort of looks like and what kind of tech stack you use. Tech stack, I was told same thing as you said, Kubernetes, Terraform, AWS. And is there any specific language you guys use within the team, or is it more go as you learn sort of thing?
We use primarily Golang.
Yeah.
I think the main capabilities that we're looking for at the moment is someone who knows how to code, because that's important, because we also supplement the infrastructure with services,
Yeah.
microservices. Currently, there's Golang. There are some Python. There are some Java. You can also use Java, but we are trying to be more consistent. So
Specific, yeah.
Golang. And then someone who also knows the infrastructure. And like I said, YAML engineers.
Yeah.
So we need a balance of both. Someone who can, work well with Helm charts and YAML,
Yeah.
and then work well with
Code.
coding as well.
Yeah.
And then the infrastructure components, which are, Kubernetes, AWS.
Yeah.
So,
Need all the hats, I guess, in this case with platform. My experience with Golang is there's a thing called fCloud, Fresha built internally, which is Fresha Cloud. And it's basically a service that interacts with the AWS EKS. And you can spin up different, so everything you can do in your, using your kubectl can be done from a Slack command. And we built like a middleware to interact with different services. Very interesting stuff. But yeah, that's using Golang. It's going
Okay.
good so far. But yeah, thanks for the overview. Just wanted to understand how the team works and what the day to day looks like.
Okay.
Nice.
Thank you. Thank you too.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time, Sagar.
Thank you
Saran.
so much. Yes. In terms of next steps, I just wanted to know what are the next steps on how would you approach them?
So usually recruiter should reach out to you, or if you already have a third round lined up for you, maybe you'll go for that, and then all of the interviews will get together and have a discussion, and then recruiter will reach out.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that sounds good. I had one Terraform project to show, but I think we're running out of time. But
Yeah.
that's all right. Thank you again for your time. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
so much, Saran.
Cheers.
Good day. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks, Ashad. How do you exit? Fuck. What do you think?
Then,
Yeah.
so did you not look at the code?
Bro, it was very obvious if I was looking. You could have put it in the middle. Why did you
It was
leave this
obvious.
open?
Okay. No, because I wanted to look what you were doing.
I did look. I don't know. How did it go? You think it was good?
So, the coding obviously needs some work, right?
Yeah, definitely needs work.
So, and I think the theory part went better in coding.